Welcome to the Capricorn new moon. What does this cycle have in store for us? Keep watching to find Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to your new moon musings for January 11th's new moon in Capricorn. For those of you who are returning and you are old hat at this and you've seen this 1,000,001 times, skip ahead to the intro to get started. For those of you who are connecting with me for the first time, welcome and keep watching. I put a little section in here to let you know how you can make this reading work best for you. So stay tuned and we'll see you on the flip side. So here's how the new moon musings reading works. In the new moon, we have different cycles and phases of the moon. We have the new moon, the waxing crescent, the first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter or third quarter, and the waning crescent. The first part of the new moon cycle is the waxing cycle. So we have waxing gibbous, waxing crescent. What does waxing mean? Waxing is the energy of at the new moon, we are deciding what we want to work on. And the waxing is putting the action into what we're trying to create, what we're trying to achieve, a project that we're trying to complete. And then the waning part of it comes after the full moon. So you have new moon to full moon that is the waxing. And then the waning is the full moon to the next new moon. And it doesn't mean that there's no action involved in the waning. It just means you're more reflective about what's going on. You're paying more attention to what action was put in and is it working for us, and do we need to tweak the process as we are working to connect the dots and find the completion to that particular cycle. Each of these phases of the moon represents a different energy that each of us is experiencing in the collective as well as individually. So what you can do is watch the entire reading once all the way through to get the overarching energies for this particular new moon cycle. And then throughout the phases of each moon, you can come back and review each of those phases. Now, it's not an exact science. I read it as though we have basically three days, 2.5 to 4 days. So take the average in the middle, 3 days in each phase. But the moon is a bit temperamental. And so sometimes you can be in one phase and lasting a little longer in that phase. And maybe the next phase will be a little bit shorter. And, for your neighbor, it might be the exact opposite. So it's important for you to really tune in and recognize where you're at energetically when you're tapping into these. So check out the timestamps below when you're watching this reading, anytime after you've taken in the full message and the full energy. So for this new moon in Capricorn, we've got some really exciting energy that's coming up for us. And let's get started with the reading. We are going to dive in, and I'm pulling cards today from a new deck to me. It's called Universal Fantasy Tarot by Paolo Martinello. And actually, this is the first time I'm using this deck. And then for each of the sort of the cardinal points, I will also be pulling an affirmation card from the Moon Magic from Stacy DeMarco. So let's get right on in. And of course, Capricorn season is very much a season where we are connecting to what we're working towards. We're connecting to those goals that we're trying to create. And so there's a lot of this energy that comes into focus around what we are contributing, what we're putting out. It also brings a little bit of the vision, because as we're working towards something, we want to always be double checking to make sure that we're still in alignment with what that is. So we're going to start with our release card. And this release card is, what am I releasing from the previous new moon cycle? And the previous new moon cycle was pretty freaking exciting. We had a lot of course, it's in Sagittarius, so a lot of Sagittarian energy, a lot of expansive energy, a lot of learning about ourselves, learning about what is going on out in the community, out in the world. So what are we releasing so that we can really embrace this energy of evaluating the work and what we're putting out into the world? 8 of Wands. Okay, this is so funny because this is a card of swift release. So feeling very much that as a collective, we are looking at those things that are no longer serving us, no longer able to give us the support that we need to get where you're going. I'm also seeing the energy of packing light, understanding that you are going on a trip. 2024 is bringing about a brand new, fresh energy. We are in the process of building something new, building something from scratch, perhaps from the ground up or from the rubble of what has been knocked down and torn down. And as a result of that, we need to not attach ourselves to those things that are coming up. We need to recognize that, you know what? I'm going to see if I can go to Europe for a week on a carry-on rather than packing luggage, right? It's going light. And so I feel like that's what we're releasing. We're releasing this idea that we have to carry all sorts of things with us. It's about carrying the wisdom that we've learned, but not the material stuff that goes with it. So there's a release of the material. I wouldn't be surprised if some of us also feel the need to go into a bit of a spring cleaning, an early spring cleaning, as it were, from a material or a physical perspective. So now we're going to tap into the Soul card, and this is what is the collective learning and growth for this moon cycle. Ooh, and this card just flipped right out. Oh my God, it's the Capricorn card. Very interesting. So we've got the Devil. So what is the collective learning and growth for this new moon cycle? Where are our tried and true cycles and patterns holding us back from that collective learning and growth? In order for us to build fresh, we have to think outside the box. We have to get outside of what we have always done before and always done in the past. And I feel like this soul energy, this soul card, and how it is coalescing with this new moon cycle is really an invitation to do things differently. The Devil card often represents our soul work, our shadow work, and drudging up things that maybe are in the shadow, hidden in the hidden in the corners of the room. And if we're going in and doing sort of a spring cleaning, it's kind of like, oh, I hadn't seen that for a while. I wondered where that went. And I feel like it's an invitation for us on that collective level to take a look at those things that maybe need the dust blown off of them a little bit. We need to either decide whether we're going to use it, or whether we're going to repurpose it, or whether we're going to give it away, throw it out. It's part of our past, and we need new things to move forward. So the Devil card is coming through to support us in that energy. Also with this card, and it's not demonstrated as much here or as easily here as in the traditional depictions, but typically you've got two individuals, two people that are chained, but you'll notice in the pictures and the cards that the chain is loosely around their neck. They could easily just lift that chain over their heads, or loosen the chains that are around their wrists, implying that often we imprison ourselves with our own fears. And I feel like the Soul card this month is encouraging us to step outside of those fears and to say, you know what, I know that the fear is here, but I also have the option to say whether this fear is true or false, whether this fear really is a true commentary on what I'm actually capable of doing, what I'm actually capable of learning and growing into. So the Devil card is coming through to encourage us and inspire us and support us to break out of those unhealthy patterns and cycles that maybe we are subconsciously allowing to steer the ship, to drive the bus. So it's taking back our power. I feel like that's really important. Okay, so for our new moon card, and our new moon is on January 11th, and it's at 6:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I believe is 11:57 UTC. I apologize, I get that confused sometimes because we're on daylight savings. So sometimes it's 6 hours apart and sometimes it's 5. But I believe that is 11:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, yeah. So the affirmation connected to the new moon card is I manifest. So new moon is a great time to manifest. What energies are here to support my manifesting? How can I lean into their wisdom? So from January 11th to the 13th, we are in, oh my God, the Strength card. And this, by the way, is the card of the year. We are in an 8th year in 2024, and the Strength card is this year. So I think that's very fitting, and it's not a mistake that it's showing up in our reading in January. So it's setting that tone. It's giving us a nice reminder that we've already put the work in. We're already strong enough. We already have all the things that we need to be able to move forward and to be successful in what it is that we're trying to achieve. And so with this manifesting energy, when you're sitting into this new moon space, you really want to be taking a look at what is it that I would like to feel and hold tangibly in my hands at the end of this new moon cycle. And I feel like the Strength card is inviting you to say, yes, you've got everything that you need within you. It's the inner strength as well as the outer strength. And understanding that you've already mastered, even if you're aware of it or not, you've already mastered the energy and kind of wrangled with the energy. You know, we look at her familial here is a dragon, and it's very comfortable, and it's, you know, not a fire-breathing dragon on her, and he's not trying to eat her, bite her head off. They're friends. They've made a vow or a commitment to one another, and we're not seeing the process that brought them there. We're just seeing the end result. And so I feel like that's what energies are here to support you, is recognizing those times and paying attention to those times when you did get to the finish line. You did get to the other side of that tunnel, and understanding that, yeah, you might be facing a long tunnel right now. You know, this month ahead might be challenging in terms of, you know, maybe you've set a really high goal for yourself, but it's leaning into those spaces and places where you've been successful before and using that energy to support you, to give you that inner strength to say, you know what, this really isn't all that different. I know I can do it, and I've got the resources within me to be able to do it. The Strength card also for me often represents inner child work. So I want to say this isn't going to be a message for everybody. It's not going to resonate with everyone specifically, but with a lot of us, I feel like, you know, how can I lean into this energy's wisdom? It's connecting with your inner child. When you're wanting to manifest your dreams, goals, and desires, you need to invite your inner child in on the path, in on the plan, because the inner child often is the one that didn't get to play. It's the one that has the most fear. And you want to be able to say, listen, I got you. We got this. This is going to be fun. We can do this. You know, what was in the past is in the past. Here's where we're at right now. And come with me. You know, take my hand. Let's play and manifest together. Let's do this together. So lean into your inner child energy for, I want to say, support, and also bring in that inner child energy for integration. All right, we are going to pull an affirmation that corresponds with that soul card energy. And we've got, I accept and create more flow and pleasure in my life. Beautiful. So, you know, with the Strength card, it is recognizing, yeah, you've gone through the process of wrangling that dragon. You've worked hard to develop that relationship, and now it's time to relax, breathe, and enjoy what you've created. Be in flow. Accept the pleasures of life. Sometimes when the Strength card comes up, you know, people roll their eyes because they're like, oh my God, like more growth. You know, whenever you get growth, it's like, okay, so I'm going to go through some painful experience, or I'm going to have to be stretched outside my comfort zone. And sometimes, yeah, that's true. But this card and the affirmation is basically saying you've done the work. So now enjoy the fruits of your labor. Yeah, there's still more work to, I want to say, to maintain that and to be aware of that. But being present in the moment and being in flow is what's going to bring the pleasure. All right, now we've got our Waxing Crescent card, and this is coming up on January 14th, and the energies are going to last anywhere between the 14th and the 16th-ish. And the affirmation around this is I plan. So after we've manifested, we've put out there what it is that we want to receive, what we want to work towards. Now it's the planning. How do I go about this? So what do I need to consider when creating my plan for this new moon cycle? Any challenges or opportunities to be aware of? Ooh, beautiful. Okay, first of all, we have 3 of the 4 cards that we've pulled. We have 3 cards that are major arcana. So this is a big month. This is a big cycle. This is a cycle that I want to say is going to make major changes in our lives for the good if we're paying attention to it. So we've got the High Priestess. So what do you need to consider when creating your plan for your cycle? Getting out of your own way, putting aside a little bit of the emotional component to your plan, and connecting more to that the inner guidance. What I like to talk about with the High Priestess is she has that oracular energy. So what's the difference between a psychic and an oracle? A psychic is someone who, gives you the information and channels the information that they're receiving from your energy, your guides, source, however you want to call that, however they work, and they're having a conversation with you. They're messengers, they're passing on information, but they're doing it in a more present and a more aware space. Oracles are like the channelers. So they can kind of go into a trance state or a channeled state where they're slightly outside of their body and another being comes through. And it's their responsibility, their job, to pass on the message in exactly the way, shape, and form that it's coming through from source. There's no room for interpretation. There's no shifting or changing of the tone of voice. There's no attachment to how that information is coming through. It is, here's your information, enjoy, move along, next. So there's a bit of detachment on an emotional level. It doesn't mean that the High Priestess doesn't care. What it means is that there needs to be a bit of a detachment because she's not really going to give a fig for whether or not you like the message. She's just here to deliver it and move along because now there's someone else that has a message that she needs to deliver. You want to kind of take a little bit of this approach when you're planning. I don't want to get overly caught up in the emotional bits and pieces of it. I want to plan it and put it out there and trust and know that it's going to come through. And yeah, there might be parts of it that I don't necessarily love, but there are parts of it, those are things that need to be there in terms of the foundation. So when we're talking about challenges or opportunities that are coming up in the collective, I'm feeling very much that the challenge is going to be that there are some energies that are going to rock us emotionally and maybe throw us a little bit off course. I encourage you to remember that feelings are neither true nor false. They simply are. And all we need to do is acknowledge them rather than get sunk right down into them. It's acknowledging them. It's saying, what is it that you're showing me about this? What am I afraid of? If I'm feeling this insecurity or I'm feeling this fear that's coming up around me or I'm feeling this anger, I need to pay attention to that only so that it can lead me to the next step where I'm not letting that rule me or steer the ship or drive the boat, right? I'm allowing it now to motivate me to that next step, to get out of this and move into the next step that's going to fuel that plan. From a work perspective, I feel like there are a lot of people who are going to get disappointing news around promotions, around circumstances with the job, bonuses that were anticipated. There are going to be some shakeups, let's put it that way. And I feel like it's really important, the High Priestess is coming through to support you to say, take the emotion out of it. Just be in that space of receiving the message or passing on the message. It doesn't mean you're not connected and you're not feeling things in your life. What it means is you're just dissociating a little bit in those ways that I want to say can attach you in ways that hold you back. When we are manifesting something, we have to release it out into the universe and then not care about the outcome. So the High Priestess is helping you to do that. She's saying, remember, we don't care about the outcome. You've already put it out there. Just trust and be open to the next steps. So that's coming through really clearly. And I know that's kind of a work message. I feel like that's going to be very very prominent in the collective, but I'm also feeling like on a personal level, the High Priestess is inviting you to stand in your own power. It's kind of like sometimes emotion gets in the way of things, and I don't mean we have to shut ourselves off entirely from it. It's important that we are emotional beings, but it's understanding that sometimes the emotion can get in the way of how is this trying to help me? Solution focused versus problem focused. I feel like that's the key. Okay, now we're at our first quarter moon card, and this is on January 17th, and it's going to extend into about the 20th. And the affirmation for this card is I act. So we've manifested, we've created the plan, now we're putting the plan into action. What energy fuels my motivation? How can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? Oh my God, we've got another major arcana. We've got the Death card. So the Death card is that change and transformation. It's the phoenix burning. So what energy fuels your motivation? It's the things that you're saying goodbye to. I feel like it's important to be very intentional about saying goodbye to what is being released into your life. And this can be, I want to say, some of the things that are going to be released might not be initially intentional for you. It might be that the universe has, pulled the rug out from under you a little bit, or brought you to an ending that you've been procrastinating about for a while, and now you're having to face it. Whatever it is, whether it's a chosen ending, chosen resolution, or something that it has shown up in your path and you have no choice but to deal with it, I would say to you, you want to be intentional about making it your own. So the energy of change, the energy of transformation is fueling you if you allow it. It's not about getting into victimhood and saying, oh, why is this happening to me? I wasn't anticipating this. I really didn't want this. It's very human for all of us to do it. I do it too. This card is saying, we don't have time for that. Don't waste your energy on that. Use the momentum of the shift to move you forward. Say, okay, this is leaving my life. I'm going to honor its leaving, and I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to look back. How can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? I want to say you really want to pay attention to what actually is being lifted off of you, what is leaving your life. Take a look at it from a different layer and a different perspective, because on the surface, there might be some pain, there might be some discomfort, there might be grief at the loss of a dream or the loss of a relationship or the loss of a job, things of that nature. But Source wants to say to you, listen, we're taking this out because there's something even better coming along. And this is how you want to move forward with it. I feel a lot of energy through this card around paying attention to where you might be playing the victim card inadvertently, like you're not aware that you're doing it. Look at that and then turn the frown upside down and say, okay, this is uncomfortable. I get this. Like, I don't know where this is all coming from, but it is what it is. And so now I'm going to just embrace it. I'm going to use it to help me move forward. Talk to Source. Connect with Source energy. Don't be afraid to ask it questions. And a lot of people will say to me, oh, well, I'm kind of mad at Source right now, or I'm mad at my angels because I don't understand why they've done something, but that's bad to be mad at your angels. No, it's not. Say what you feel. Express what you feel. They don't receive it in the same ways that we receive it here. It's not as dense. So they get the path, they get the transition, and they're just kind of like, okay, you have your feelings. We get that it's a challenge, and now let's be solution focused. That seems to be a theme, solution focused. All right, we're going to pull an affirmation card for our first quarter moon. Ooh, yeah, that one definitely made its presence known. So we are going to choose this one. Oh, it's a beautiful picture. I seek balance and grounding. Waning, Gibbous 3. So yes, with the Death card, with any kind of change and transformation, we need some balance and grounding in our life, because the phoenix burning is kind of like the earthquake, right? All of a sudden things have tumbled down and you're going, whoa, I'm having a hard time finding my equilibrium. I'm having a hard time finding my balance. Use that fuel to help you move forward, to move through that earthquake and onto calmer shores or to steady, solid ground. Grounding is important. I want to say use the resource of Mother Earth to help you through whatever is coming up. That can be walking barefoot in the grass. That can be just getting, 10 minutes of sun on your face every day, petting the animals, going for a walk every day and breathing in the fresh air. All of these things can help you with that grounding. So now we have our Wax and Gibbous card. I choose. What energy can I lean into for confidence as I discern my commitments? So we just went to the I act, right? And now I'm choosing what's coming up in front of me. I'm discerning what is being presented. So what energy can I lean into for confidence as I discern my commitments? January 21st to 24th, we've got 3 of Wands. So it's our first non-major arcana. It's our first minor arcana in the spread, with the exception of the release card from the month before. So that is really significant, and I love that it's a 3 of Wands because it is the card of expansion. What energy can you lean into for confidence? I'm expanding. I'm growing. There's more that if this had not happened to me, I would not have known or seen that this other thing was available to me. It has opened my eyes to more opportunity for me to fly. And what I think is interesting is this is very much a ship, but it's in the air. It's a sailboat, a sailing ship, but it's in the air. It's flying in the air. So you've got combination of water and air elements. Water, the ocean of emotion, our psychic energy. Air, the realm of the mind, mental energy, and the intuition. So combine your intuition and your inner knowing with your psychic ability. This is how you choose what comes available. You don't want to do this from a monkey mind space. You want to make choices based on how you are feeling into the outcome of it. Does this feel good for me to pursue? Does this give me butterflies of excitement? Or does this give me a rock in my gut and I get really nervous about it? Discern that. Also with the commitments piece, I feel like anytime we're going into a situation where we're expanding into our energies, we need to make room. And if we're overcommitted, if we are over-obligated in our lives, sometimes the things that we're trying to build get put on the back burner. So I'm hearing that this 3-day window here, the 21st to the 24th, it's going to be really important that you take the hard look and make the challenging choices to prioritize what's important for you. That feels really, really huge. I'm also feeling like this person who's, sort of at the bow of the ship, he's holding on to something. It almost looks like he's trying to rein those sails in. And I feel like for you, this is not the way to go. You don't want to rein in the sails as in the inspirations that you're receiving. What you want to sort of rein in is where your energy is going, because you want to be putting your energy on those sails, but your energy is elsewhere. Also, I want to say from a friendship perspective, I feel like this particular window of time is going to be really important for you to reach out to your community, reach out to your inner circle, and run some things by some people. That when you get those inspirations or you see how you're expanding, ask those trusted people that know you and are going to give you an honest opinion. They're going to give you the truth because they want to see you succeed. And they're going to say, well, if you expand in this way or this way, here's how I see this unfolding for you. And so here are some things you want to consider. You need that, I want to say, sort of that, not second opinion as much as that perspective that's a little bit outside of you, but that knows you well. So connect with friendships during this time to support your path. All right, now we are at the full moon card, and the full moon energy is I receive. So you've planned it, you've acted upon it, you've chosen your path, and now it's about receiving, especially because new moon, we're manifesting. Now the full moon is, okay, I'm receiving what's coming to me. I'm paying attention to how those manifestations are working, or I'm reinforcing those manifestations that I've put into the space. I'm trusting and believing that it's all coming to me. So how can I best open to the energies of this full moon to receive clarity, guidance, or direction? What gift does this full moon offer to me? The full moon is on January 25th, and it's at 17:54 UTC time, which is 12:54 p.m. Eastern Standard. This is a full moon in Leo, and we had the Strength card, which is the Leo card, as our new moon. So that is a very interesting synchronicity that we have. It's also mirroring itself in sort of that reading energy. So Leo, leading with the heart, shining your light, being very comfortable and confident with being on purpose. How can I serve you, world? I've arrived. I'm here. Put me to work. Help me out with this. So I feel like this is going to be kind of an interesting full moon. I haven't even turned the card over yet. It's going to be an interesting full moon because we're receiving with the energy of really wanting to put ourselves out there and give. So you may be feeling a little torn during this energetic time, feeling like I want to receive, but I also want to give. And I want to say to you, whatever it is that you do receive, you want to take a little bit of time to allow it to percolate. So how can you best open to the energies of this full moon to receive clarity, guidance, or direction? Take a breath, pause, and breathe. And what gift does this full moon offer to you? Oh, beautiful. We've got Ace of Wands. So a very supportive card for this Leo energy. Ace is pure potential. It is inspired action. So this ties in with what I was kind of getting around that Leo energy. I receive. How can I best open to the energies of the full moon? Opening to the potential. Yes, it's inspired action, but you want to receive the inspiration. You want to understand how you're going to act before you take the action. Ace is pure potential. It's the zero. So it can become all or it can become nothing. It's all in what we put into it. But we are also in a space of receiving. So it's important to receive first and then act. Sometimes with that Leo energy, we want to act first. And it comes from a good place. It comes from the place of wanting to heal the world, wanting to solve the world's problems, wanting to be of great assistance to others, wanting to be a part of. And sometimes we can, I want to say, bulldoze through something that's really important. So consider your choices, consider your actions. The gift that the full moon is giving to you is the receiving of the inspiration, the receiving of the plan, the receiving of the next step. And you're going to have time to take that next step, but you want to sit in it for a little bit. I'm also feeling collectively there's something coming up around this full moon time that I feel is going to be a bit of a shock to everyone, but not necessarily a bad shock, more of a wow, didn't see that coming, and okay, that could actually really work, or that could cause us to expand in a way that we didn't know how we were going to kind of get there, but the universe has presented us with that opportunity. So I feel that there's a positive shock that's coming through, and how are we going to, I want to say, use that shock to our advantage. So there's definitely a gift that the full moon is bringing in. Okay, we're going to pull an affirmation for that moon card. Beautiful. I see some beautiful birds. I choose to nourish myself and enrich my life. So I feel like this is really fitting because that Ace of Wands, we want to go, 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 but it's important to make the choice to nourish ourselves and enrich our lives. In order to do that, we've got to take the time to eat the food and process the food that's nourishing us, right? To use that as an analogy. We need to take that time. Otherwise, if you're eating too fast, you're going to throw up everything, right? Or it's not going to feel good as you're digesting it. And then the body is going to kind of go into like a fight or flight mode, and you might not take in all the nutrition that it's originally presenting, or the full potential of the nutrition that it has to offer you. So the Ace of Wands and that full moon energy is really giving you the space to take some time to receive the goodness that's coming through. You're going to act on it. You're going to have plenty of time to act on it. Let's sit with it for a while and let it percolate. Okay, now we're at our disseminating moon. Disseminating moon is a lot of fun. It is the waning crescent as well. The affirmation is I acknowledge. January 29th to February 1st, so happy February. I acknowledge. So I've received all of this stuff. Now is the time for me to acknowledge it, to move forward, to take some action. So how best can I honor my gifts and my light during this time? Where can I express gratitude from the heart? Another Wands card. Okay, so we got a lot of fire energy. So we've got this momentum. We've got this passion. Spirit is speaking to us. Soul energy is alive and kicking here. So how best can you honor your gifts and your light during this time? Acknowledging your wins, acknowledging all of the rewards that you have achieved, and patting yourself on the back for taking that time in the full moon to receive and to, I'm hearing, recharge before you charge forth into the next plan or the next step. 10 of Wands is new beginnings based on an already established foundation. So I'm feeling like it's important for you to acknowledge those things that you've already achieved. And there is going to be a component of this card that also says, what do you need to release in order to be able to move forward? And we talked about that at the beginning of the reading. You know, we're packing light. We're going to Europe with only a carry-on. It's an experiment, but we're packing light. Can we get through what we need to? Do we recognize that when we get to Europe, we always end up being able to find what it is that we need because we are in flow and in our present space? We're doing that because we are expressing gratitude from the heart. So 10 of Wands is inviting you to step into, once again, a space of deep trust. Yes, things have been released, but I'm also taking the time to acknowledge all that I have already. And this is going to, as I'm highlighting this, as I'm looking at this, as I'm painting my story around all of these things that have already occurred in this cycle already, I'm feeling safer in my skin. I'm feeling the love and the support and the surrounding energy of Source. I am stepping more into my heart space, and I know now how to best support the people around me. I know now how best to support myself. So this period of time is really going to be, I want to say, a bit internal in the ways that you are connecting to what needs to be acknowledged, and then external in the ways that you're celebrating it, in the ways that you're communicating it with others, in the ways that you're expressing it out of your heart space. I'm also really drawn here to the blue in her dress, and the blue in her dress I'm feeling very much is connected to that throat chakra energy. So we've got a lot of the speaking your truth, finding your truth, speaking your truth. If we're acknowledging, it's acknowledging the truth from within. It's not acknowledging somebody else's truth, somebody else's idea of what should be, what needs to be, their plans for your life, things of that nature. It's about acknowledging your truth. What is my truth? And let me thank the universe for that. Even if that truth is a bit uncomfortable to hear or to acknowledge or to embrace, it's saying thank you for letting me know that that's there. And now I have the opportunity to kind of stew on it a little bit, to mull it over and to see how I want to transmute it into something that's really going to work on my behalf. So that feels really, really important. All right, now we have our third quarter moon. This is on February 2nd, and it's going to go from the 2nd to the 5th. This is I claim. What is being completed in my life at this time? And how can I connect to its release with conviction? Another 10. Wow, there's so much synchronicity in our spread this month. I love it. So the second 10 of Pentacles. Because of the release, because of the acknowledgement that you've done with that 10 of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles is I've arrived. I've got all of the things that I worked hard to achieve. This is going to be a month where anything that you put into, I want to say into the mix in that new moon, you're going to be seeing it tangibly in your life. And it might be that you're seeing the first step revealed, if it's a larger manifestation, a larger plan that you've put out there. And if it's a smaller plan, I see you holding it in your hands, or I see it really being something that you are able to take advantage of in your life. So the Ten of Pentacles is great because, yes, it's a card of sort of ancestral awareness and ancestral energy, but I feel also that it's connecting you to this idea that, you know what, I did it. I did have all the resources. I kind of doubted it at first, but I did have everything I needed within me. I did do the work in advance, and when I applied that wisdom, I succeeded. I was able to manifest in some really big ways, in some really quick ways, what new things are coming in to serve my purpose and to serve my life. And how do you connect to this, the sort of the release of what's being completed in your life with conviction? It's saying thank you for it. It's saying, wow, this is amazing. Let's celebrate together. I want to bring others into my good news. And yes, there is a certain level of planning ahead, looking forward to what is next. But this is a card that reminds you, don't get too caught up in the future. Take the time to enjoy the win now. This feels like a really big message. I'm also drawn to, it's actually all the pentacles. The pentacles are being represented here in the curtain, as the curtain is pulled back. And there's pink and gold. And I feel like it's the abundance of that self-care. It's the abundance of unconditional love. This is what you're claiming. You're claiming the fact that the universe showed up for you. The universe came through. I am loved. I am worthy. I am deserving of this amazing thing that I've manifested. And yes, I'm releasing my fear and my doubt with conviction, because I know now it's right in front of me. The proof is right in front of me that I did this thing, and I co-created with the universe. I co-created with Source. So this is a very powerful period of time. That's February 2nd through the 5th. Powerful, powerful energy. All right, let's get ourselves an affirmation card. It'll be interesting to see what the affirmation card is for this, because the message is so powerful. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Moon God Tur Ye, rabbit on the moon. So I choose to take a higher perspective to widen my views. I feel like when we're talking about this Ten of Pentacles, it really is like, look at even how he's standing. He is taking a different perspective. He's pulled the curtain back. He's not focused solely on the material wealth as it is. He's recognizing that, yeah, I created it. I'm sitting in all of it. It feels amazing. Yeah, I'm going to be looking at how I can reinvest that. But I'm just sitting on the fact that I was able to do it. And now I know I'm always going to have it. I don't have to hide myself. I don't have to keep myself hidden. I don't have to hide in plain sight or play small. I can be big. And I've changed my perspective because of this truth that has come through in a powerful way. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Things don't always come through in the ways that we think they're supposed to come through. And that's what throws us off as humans, is we get it in our head, in our limited view of thinking, our limited imagination of what the mind can actually create. And we think, okay, well, it has to come through in this way because that's the only way that I can imagine it. That's the only way that I can see it. But it's not so. It's not true. Allow Source to move through your life. Okay, we are at our Balsamic moon, and this is the waning crescent. I surrender, February 6th through the 8th. This is the last card of the official new moon cycle, and we've got another major arcana. So the affirmation is, I surrender, the Hierophant. What energy can I lean into to fly free into this new version of me? What can I consider as I embrace this opportunity to know myself anew? This is going to be an amazing few days for you to evaluate your beliefs. And I feel that all of us, our beliefs are going to be rocked a little bit in a positive way. You know, if you manifest something and it shows up in really big ways, you can't help but acknowledge that and say, wow, I really am supported. I really am taken care of. I really don't need to worry about things. This is pretty freaking amazing. It changes the way you see and perceive your life. it changes your belief about what you are worthy and deserving of, about what can actually happen in the time frame that it happens. It helps you to expand out of that space. So the Hierophant is coming through in really big ways to say, let's check out your beliefs. Let's tweak your beliefs so that they are truly aligned with the truth of your existence, which is you are here to create happiness and joy. You're here to create experiences that help you to learn and expand on a soul perspective. And this month in particular, with all of the different goals that you have, you're receiving proof. It's proof, and it's setting you up for success for the next new moon cycle, which is coming up in a couple of days, right? So the Hierophant is inviting you to consider the expansion of your beliefs in relation to, are they, not so much are they serving you as much as what is it that you're allowing yourself to believe about this game called life? Are you limiting yourself? Are you putting a ceiling on yourself? Or are you understanding now with this experience of things coming true, oh, the sky's the limit? What can I consider as I embrace this opportunity to know myself anew? Because that is what it is. It's a new version of you. You've just had this big aha moment. How are you going to apply that wisdom? So that's really, really important. Gosh, I love that. Okay. Our final card is the Dark Moon. And the Dark Moon card isn't an official time in the phase in terms of the scientific phases of the moon, but it is an energetic phase. And it happens kind of in between that 6th to the 8th of February. So in between the Balsamic Moon card. And it's similar to the release card that we pulled at the beginning of our session, our reading today. We're releasing it from the previous month. So the Dark Moon is saying, okay, what are you releasing now about this energy so that you're opening yourself to the next new moon cycle? And of course, the affirmation is I release. What can I release control of or walk away from, knowing it has served its purpose? How can I remain open to the new and the unknown in this process? Beautiful. We got King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is my Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. This is the guy that walks around and says, you know what, I'm not worried about anything because I know that I'm going to get everything that I need in the way and pace and manner that it's going to show up. I've already laid the groundwork. The foundation is there, and now it's about my trust. So I feel like King of Pentacles is inviting you to release the how and the when around all of your manifestations, to release this idea that you need to micromanage what is coming up and coming around, and to recognize that this huge success that has come through, this tangible win, this tangible manifestation that you have in your life is the new way to be. It's the new way to activate your energy, or the new way to connect with your energy. It's releasing that micromanagement and stepping into, I'm going to say it again, trust. So King of Pentacles also says, listen, everything in its own time and its own place. If you rush something, you're going to ruin the experience. You're not going to give it the opportunity to come to its fullest potential. And you may not even know what that full potential is. You may think you know, but what you know might be limited. So this is an invitation in that dark moon energy. And I want to say, let's pick the 7th, February 7th, that you're exploring this. You're recognizing, you know what? Everything is here in front of me. And I don't really need to worry, because if I'm connected to my intuition, if I'm connected to that flow, that emotional flow, that ocean of emotion, I know that I'm always going to be able to get what I need. And so I don't need to micromanage. I don't need to hurry it along. That is ego that pops up. And that part of ego stops us from receiving what we need to receive. Wow, guys. Okay, well, this is going to be an amazing new moon cycle. I'm so excited. If you are looking for a little bit of support through your transformations, consider checking out my Tools for Transformation Ignite Your Wings membership. It is jam-packed with so much support, all the support you need. We've got channelings, card readings, meditations, affirmations, random card pulls. We have, we run the gamut of it. The archangels connect with us all the time. I do a weekly healing, a monthly healing that allows the energy to receive whatever it needs. If you need a boost, if you need a healing, if you need cleansing, if you need a little bit of extra support, it's all in there. And we're all going through these transformative times. And this month is huge because of all of that major arcana coming in. If I can support you in any way, please feel free to click on the link below to check it out and join my membership community. There's a free component to this Tools for Transformation that you'll also get a bonus with, and that is my Black Feather community. So would love to have you join. Sending you guys so much love. Have the most amazing new moon cycle, and we'll see you next time. Take care.